Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 13 of the Squid QE Podcast with guests. Today's episode is going to be a bit of a special episode dedicated to FuriousPaul, Quake player, and also a World of Warcraft player. He passed away on April 29th of 2024 at the age of 43. He was very well known in the Quake community as well as the World of Warcraft community. I hear he's a 1 through 60 speed runner. I'm personally not a World of Warcraft player, so I don't really know what that means, but I do have one of FuriousPaul's best friend, Ragestar, here with me, who's going to talk a lot about himself as well as Paul. Ragestar, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good, Squid. Thanks for having me, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, definitely. Why don't you start telling us a little bit about yourselves, how you got into Quake and stuff like that?
Well, that's an old story. So, me and Paul became best friends almost right away in the second grade.
Mm-hmm.
We went to the same school and everything, and same bus stop. And it didn't really start out as Quake. It started out as Doom, and then obviously it evolved to Quake. So, him and I really started getting into it. It was a huge upgrade from Doom. You can look up, you can look down, and everything. So yeah, that's when I first started in Quake, way back in the original Quake. So as you can imagine, when Quake Remastered came out, man, we were on top of that. I mean, I spent a big chunk of my childhood, playing the original Quake. So
Yeah, definitely. Same here, pretty much. I started out with Doom as my first game, and then eventually played Quake, although I probably came much later into like the Quake Online than most other people do and stuff. So there's that there. But yeah, that's pretty cool. So like you knew like Paul in real life and everything, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I pretty much lived at his house more than my house because I didn't have this stuff growing up. Like he had every console system, and so I mean, we were gamers since we were about 7 years old, 8 years old.
Nice. Yeah, I've played with FuriousPaul myself in like just random free for all matches and stuff like that. And he was definitely a very very good Quake player. I was always amazed with his like being able to time items almost down to like the like millisecond timing there, and I definitely don't have that kind of timing skills there, but he was definitely very good at that kind of stuff there. So I was always amazed with that kind of stuff, and yeah, he was a very good Quake player from my own personal experience there, and he is definitely going to be missed in the Quake community, definitely there, and I'm sure his family very much loved him and are definitely going to miss him as well.
Yeah, it's been hard for everybody. He's just, he was just such a healthy person, and it just like nobody expected it. I mean, he had heart complications, so that's what ended up getting him in the end. But yeah, I mean, he was on the best diet. The doctor said that he was probably the most healthiest person he's ever seen. He just had that problem with his heart, and he kept delaying the surgery. All it took was one walk around the park.
Wow. Yeah, 43 is, that just seems so young, I mean,
Yeah. Well, I'm 41, so yeah, I couldn't imagine. But yeah, it hit me pretty hard. I can't say it. I've had uncles die and stuff that I wasn't really close to, or stuff like that. But somebody that you grew up with and talked to every day, and play video games together every day. I mean, it hit pretty hard. It kind of feels empty now when I play video games. Because, I mean, obviously we were both gamers, and part of being a gamer is, I mean, if you want to be the best, you almost got to be like a recluse. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, he definitely put gaming before anything else. I mean, he excelled in pretty much anything that he laid his hands on, any game. It didn't matter what it was. He was going to find a way to master it.
What were like some of his favorite games that he liked to play and stuff like that?
Well, he's always been a speedrunner. So we started the whole speedrunning thing back in the Doom days, Doom 2. And I don't know if anybody knows who Yonatan Donor is, but he was like an old school Doom 2 speedrunner. I mean, this guy had every level, every turn, corner, wall down to a pat. So, we used to watch, he used to release videos and stuff. And we used to watch them. And so on Doom 2, we started doing a co-op speed run, which basically, I mean, you skip whatever monsters you can, you skip everything you can. You skip, and we got it down to a pretty good science. But we did that for a long time until Quake came out, and then Quake kind of took over our lives for quite a bit. I remember him having to upgrade his modem because his old modem wasn't really supporting Quake that much. He actually upgraded his entire computer for Quake. I'm talking everything. Then I had his old computer, because we used to have a dual computer setup at his house. So I'd be on one computer, and that would basically be the leftover computer from when he upgraded his computer. And so, I'd just go over there every day, man. We'd join online like we were in this remastered. And he quickly dominated everything. I mean, his name back then was Cuvier. And I remember a guy named White Boy. And that was his biggest competition back then. And I was always fourth, fifth. Sometimes I'd get first every once in a while, but if he was in there, it wasn't likely. But other than Quake, he also enjoys. He had a world record in Castlevania speedrun. He has a world record in World of Warcraft speedrun. He did do a Quake speedrun, but I can't remember how that panned out for him. I'd have to check that out, but yeah, he did speedruns in almost every game that he did. But those were the main games. We played Super Nintendo. He liked Mario Kart and all those Super Nintendo games. We got into Symphony of the Night a lot. That was a Castlevania game for PlayStation, I think. But yeah, other than that, his most of his life has been dedicated to World of Warcraft. And he made a guide and everything for it. He made like one of the first leveling guides for it. And getting that world fastest time, and that still holds today. And in fact, it actually cannot be broken. If anybody knows anything about World of Warcraft, the original World of Warcraft was they didn't have any layers, and as more people joined Warcraft, like probably half the world, they had to add layers in, which means that monsters and stuff can respawn a lot. They respawn a lot faster now, and if not, you can jump over to another layer, and they would be there. So back when he did it, there was no layering, so he had to find other creative things to do while he was waiting for stuff to respawn. And they, when they came out with the second expansion, they started adding layers. So the fact that his time was non-layered will basically hold him, he will hold the world record for forever. which is really good, So, but yeah, it's a little rundown of his favorite games and our favorite games growing up.
Yeah, so he's definitely left his mark in the gaming universe there. Yeah,
Absolutely, yeah.
yeah, those are some pretty proud things to accomplish and stuff there. I didn't even know some of that that stuff you told me there. I knew he did like speed running and stuff in there, but I never knew like how much he did it there. So yeah, that is definitely some dedication there. And speed running is not an easy thing to do. It's a lot of time. It's a lot of being very precise with everything and timing everything straight down to the dot and stuff like that there. So
Right.
it requires a lot of skill and timing and just a lot of stuff I can't do, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, it does take a certain mindset to do it. You know what I mean? Like you gotta want to be the best. And if you're just 99% sure you want to be the best, that's not enough. Because people nowadays, people min-max everything in the gaming industry,
Hmm.
I mean, it's unbelievable. So, you know, your passion has to be there 100%. And his always was, man. There's no question about that.
Hmm. Yeah. Um, so what exactly is? Because I know like one of the biggest. You said WoW, World of Warcraft. What does it mean when they say World of Warcraft 1 through 60 speedrun? Like what is that?
Okay, so those are the levels.
Hmm.
You start off as a level 1 character, and it's like a MMORPG game. And you level up, you do quests. You can find groups. It's open world.
Hmm.
Um, and so he had gotten to from 1 to 60 in a world record time, which at that time was 4 days and 20 hours. Very fairly easy number to remember. It's not one anybody can forget.
Hmm.
But yeah, 4 days and 20 hours, and that was back then. That was insane. I mean, people were asking him if he slept, which he did, because nobody was able to do that again until they came out with Classic, which they went through all the at a certain point. I think it was during. Well, I don't want to get too complicated into WoW and all their expansions, but
Hmm.
uh, I would say about um, 15 years. Let's see, 15. Yeah, about 15. We'll just round it to 15 years later. They relaunched Classic World of Warcraft, like the very first one, like the one he had the speed running
Yeah.
uh, record in. So they relaunched it, but they had layers. So you had a bunch of mage like spell. They cast spells and stuff like AOE stuff, and
Hmm.
people were able to compare to his time. But like I said, they had layers, so things were always there. They can just sit there and grind their way straight up. So like I said, it is different, but people did do it, but in a different way. So, but yeah, so back then he was the first 1 to 60. Not the first one, but he had the record of the fastest time.
Ah.
And that's why he started making his guide was a speed running guide. So his guide give you the fastest route, from what quest you should focus on, what
Hmm.
quest you should, you know everything in the guide, would tell you like how to get from 1 to 60 the absolute fastest. So a lot of people found that useful, and so his guide became uh, huge. And I'm talking millions of dollars worth. So he quickly became very well known uh, in the WoW community.
Did he?
Very famous, actually.
Yeah, definitely. Did he make a lot of money doing that kind of stuff?
Millions, yeah.
Wow,
Yep.
millions.
Yeah. You gotta
Wow.
understand, the amount of people that play World of Warcraft is quite a bit. I think their highest point at one time was during their expansion. I believe, don't quote me, but I believe it was Wrath of the Lich King, and they had like 13 million subscribers, in which, back then you had to pay like $15 a month to play the game, And so, yeah, Blizzard is the people that made World of Warcraft. They had 13 million people playing. If you could imagine.
Yeah, that is a lot. I know, like,
it's huge.
Yeah, I know, like, World of Warcraft has always been like their biggest game over at Blizzard. So yeah, those numbers are very. Unfortunately, I don't think Quake has ever had that many people play, but that's
be awesome if they did.
Yeah, that would be awesome. But obviously Quake is a very different game and requires a very different skill set and a lot of there, and plus people played it much longer, have such a big advantage there. Well, I mean, I guess that's kind of the case with every game too, but with Quake specifically.
I think it's just more of the generations nowadays. They're just, they're just too young to even know what Quake even is.
Yeah. Yeah, but I'm still amazed that he made millions doing that.
Oh yeah.
If I would have known that, maybe I would have done it too. But I don't think I would have been anywhere near as good as he did it. So that's really cool that he made his own living.
Yeah. So I mean, the game came out in 2004. So I mean, you would have to have been. You would probably have to have, in order to do something like that at the time, you would have had to been I would say at least a teenager. You know what I mean? So, I don't know, like, a lot of people, when they, I know that when Classic came out, a lot of people, were just too young, and so they've always wanted to play the original World of Warcraft. And then when they came out with it, it was a pretty big hit, and it was also during COVID, so made it easy for a lot of people to get into it. But
yeah.
I'll tell you what, be that it may, it became a job to him. So when when Quake came out remastered, that became his new favorite pastime. I mean, he would message me and be like, "Oh man, we got 14 people in the server, man. Come on!" I'd just be getting off of work, and I'd jump in and I mean, that was probably his favorite. So he really appreciated what you guys were able to do with some of this stuff. I'll tell you that much right now.
Yeah, I personally didn't have anything to do with it. I mean, I'm
not talking about the release of it. I'm just,
I got
the community that we had.
I got you.
Yeah, but I don't know if you did anything. You said you didn't, but I mean, we all did. All of us. I mean, it wouldn't have been a community if there's nobody in the community. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. I mean, I play tested for Dan a little bit here and there. But,
oh yeah. Okay.
Outside of that, yeah, no. I mean, the big programmers you're looking at, like you're looking at like a Buckshot and Kilomiles and CK. Like those guys are, they're the true people that have done a lot for the community.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. I remember CK.
Yeah, very good guy. I had him on the podcast. He's very, very good talking.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
So what was some of the things that Paul liked doing, like outside of gaming?
Outside of gaming, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. Gaming was his life, but he's always enjoyed health, especially when he's told of his heart condition that he has. He started taking it more seriously. He's always been into lifting weights and everything. He's always been a really fit person. He enjoyed enjoyed jogging, going for walks, just keeping. He never let himself, he was a gamer before anything, but he never let himself get unhealthy.
Yeah.
So he is the healthiest gamer I know, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that was probably one of his favorite things to do. It's just just keep his health up and exercise.
Yeah, that is a common problem with like hardcore gamers like that is health related things, because they spend so much time gaming that sometimes they forget, I need to get out a little more and just exercise and keep the weight off, keep your health healthy and stuff like that. And yeah, I know when I was younger, I really had a bad kind of gaming addiction, and like I wouldn't really go out and do things like that. I've been a lot better now, so definitely maintaining a healthy weight and just not letting myself waste away just gaming and stuff like that. So it is important to balance out a healthy life with your gaming life, and
absolutely,
you definitely don't want to become like a vegetable or something like that, or whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever happens to you when you spend so much time in a chair and you don't move around.
Hey, you get really fat.
Yeah.
And not healthy.
Well, I mean, not even that. It's like, like just risk of like, blood clots from not moving around too much, and
right.
Heart disease, stuff like that, because you're not really working out your heart muscle and stuff. So stuff like that. Yeah. But so I'm glad that he was also. I'm glad that he was also very active outdoors and stuff like that. So that's good to hear.
Yeah, he also enjoyed camping a lot. We used to go to this place called Nelson's Ledges, and it's like a hippie fest kind of thing. We both enjoyed doing like mushrooms and stuff. So there's no better place to do them than at a hippie fest,
Right.
So he would always ask me if I wanted to go and stuff, and we had some good times there too. But he's always been kind of a little more of a spiritual universe, kind of person, so he really enjoyed his magic mushrooms. But yeah, that was another thing that I think helped him out with his mindset with a lot of things, is being in touch with the spiritual self.
Yeah. So he was very like, what do you call it? Spirituality.
Yeah. I mean, he wasn't like. Oh, hold on. How do you turn off? I gotta turn off the typing sounds.
It's in options and then under accessibility.
Options. Accessibility. Yeah, it's throwing me off a little bit.
We're getting you back into Quake, man. We miss you.
Hey, man, I miss everybody. I do. I really do. Every time I think about it, it's like, man, I should dedicate some time for Quake, and I do want to get that tournament going at some point. His birthday is in July. I would like to do it in July. I know there's plenty of time to plan for it and everything. And we'll just do like I would like to do, even if this game continues to be around, I would like to do like a yearly event, like on his birthday, like a yearly tournament, and maybe incorporate prizes and stuff, and try to get people excited, for that kind of setup.
I'd be down to that. Yeah, definitely like message like Dan or Bacterian. I'm sure one of them would be more than willing to set up like a tournament or something like that. Either one of the pub servers here, or we can even do like a dedicated server too.
Oh yeah. I would. I like to have like a dedicated server so we can all play without, well, yeah, I'm not 100% sure. I haven't thought about it too much yet,
Yeah.
but depends on how many people there are that are interested, I guess.
Mm-hmm. So outside of,
I don't know if I answered that other question when when I was messing around with the voice volumes. I think you had asked me something.
I don't remember what I asked you.
Okay, that's all right.
All right, okay.
Either.
We're good then. It probably wasn't that important if we don't remember it or something.
Well, I just, every time they type it, it speaks or something.
Yeah,
I wasn't around.
That's the text to speech thing. Yeah.
Yeah, and I kept throwing my thought process off a little.
No,
bit.
you're good. Yeah. You're good. I was gonna ask, outside of speed running and like Quake, like what was like FuriousPaul's like favorite like like online mode? Was it like, was he more into like duels and FFA, or was it more like team deathmatch or something?
Oh no, hands down free for all. He was a free for all guy. As a matter of fact, he was like that in pretty much every game that he played, even in World of Warcraft, where you got like guilds and stuff, or in the first person industry, community, they call them clans. But he was always a loner. He never wanted to join a clan or anything in any game. Even back in the original Quake, I was always in a clan,
Mm-hmm.
and he always wanted to be a freelancer. So yeah, he's always into free for all. He didn't want to have nothing to do with teams. I don't think he really got into team deathmatch or anything like that. So
Free for all is where it's at.
Yeah, he
man.
just wanted to own everybody. That's all it was, dude. He just wanted to slot everybody. He didn't need any help,
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
So.
There you go. He's too good for teams there. He needed the extra difficulty, so he made sure everybody, wanted to fight him.
Right. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, I feel you. I'm kind of the same way. I'm not really into that whole team deathmatch kind of thing there, but I definitely
he just wanted to get quad damage and just, own everybody. I mean, if he did ever play team deathmatch, he would probably want to turn the team kill on. Just if you're in his way, man, you're gonna splat.
You're not fast enough to be a teammate, so he's just gonna kill you. Yeah, I feel you.
I tried to get him into getting into other stuff, but he had his way.
What about you? What's your like? Are you also like free for all or?
So my favorite is free for all, and then I do enjoy other things too. I actually don't mind team deathmatch and stuff like that. So, but yeah, it's I mean, I'd probably do free for all, maybe 80%, and like a team deathmatch. It's kind of like a niche feeling for me,
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Everybody just likes their own thing. There's some people that dedicate a lot of time to the free for alls, like me, and then there's people that do team deathmatch, like most of the QE community does. So.
Oh, are they doing that?
Pretty much. I mean, they do free for alls once in a while too, but like like for a while, like nightly, they were doing like team deathmatch like almost every night. So I was always seeing the notifications there in the the gaming channel over there, but I know it died down a little bit over there because some people life got in the way and stuff there. So, but I'm sure they'll pick it up again eventually. Stuff. So, yeah, definitely come back, man. we miss you over there. You could definitely join the games over there, or
I was going to ask, so when did they come out with Quake 2?
When did they come out with Quake 2?
Well, the remaster.
Oh, the remaster. That was, like almost about a year ago now.
Oh,
Yeah, it
okay.
was. I want to say it was about a year ago, somewhere around there. Yeah, that's. I know, like after that came out, some, like people who were regularly playing like Quake Enhanced here, they kind of moved over to Quake 2 as Night Dive was kind of saying, we're done with Quake 1 Enhanced. Now we're on
Oh,
Quake 2
gotcha.
Enhanced. Yeah, so some people kind of like moved over there and because of
Oh,
that
man.
there, but there's still like a bunch of people that are dedicated to Quake 1 and playing Quake 1 and stuff. So there's
Yeah, I'm telling you, Quake 1 has such amazing like, I don't know, like a replayable aspect to it. Like, it's like the deathmatch levels were so well put together, more so than probably many deathmatch levels that I've ever experienced in a lot of first-person shooter games. So they did an amazing job on Quake 1, I thought. And yeah, I could play those. I could play those, 6 levels for the rest of my life and be happy.
well, to be fair, it is it is like it's basically just Neckquake with some extra things to it. So I mean,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
the maps have always been there, but I know what you're saying though. There's like specific touches they did to the game that really make it pop, and I think
Yeah, well,
that's what really makes it shine. And I know like there's some like really hardcore Quake players that don't really like the enhanced edition because some things are different in it and stuff, but it's the fine details and the work and passion that was put into the project that makes it what it is.
right, yeah. Like I was more talking maybe about the level layouts. Like
Ah, yeah.
I mean, they're they are the gods of putting together such deathmatch levels. I mean, they were the first ones, really. I mean, if you really think about it,
Hmm.
to lead the way to show other first person shooters and stuff to follow. Like, this is what a deathmatch level is, and this is how it should be. And just the design of the maps made it to where it was very interactive with other players. Like instead of just doing like the regular
Hmm.
levels and stuff. I thought it was cool they came out with deathmatch levels. Because I mean, the only other game before this was Doom, and I don't recall if Doom had like a. Yeah, they didn't have like an online deathmatch setup. So yeah, they're the first one. They pioneered the whole deathmatch scene.
Doom didn't.
What's that?
Doom didn't have online.
No, dude. That was Doom was like before the internet. So, I mean, the internet had just come out. They didn't have online. You could set up LAN parties, and which me and Paul did too with his brother and
Okay, that's probably what I'm
friends.
thinking. 'Cause I was gonna say I
Yeah.
could have sworn I heard people talk about Doom online before.
Well, no. Well, they eventually came out with it, and me and
But
Paul got in.
I mean, even back
Yeah,
then, yeah. But
yeah.
yeah,
Back
it's
then.
probably the LAN parties you're talking about. That's probably what it is.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, yeah. Quake was definitely a big inspiration in the online world because that's kind of where online gaming started. I guess it was
It was a
pretty
big part
much.
of it. That's for sure.
It definitely was. I mean, if it wasn't Quake, I don't know what game it would have been, but uh, yeah, definitely Quake had a big inspiration in that part.
Yeah.
Um,
And technology too, because back when the reason why there was no multiplayer Doom online is because a lot of families and stuff didn't have the internet at all or even a computer. Computers were mainly for very wealthy people and businesses, and so their modems and their online stuff was just very, very. like, very rare. I mean, I don't know if you remember, like they first came out with like what I remember is like a 14.4 modem, and then a 28 modem, then a 56 modem, and each modem gave you faster speeds. Now I think Quake, you were able to play Quake on I believe on a 56K modem, I believe. But it would have been really choppy, laggy. You'd have to turn down all your video settings, in which we did, to play the original one. And then after that, shortly after, they came out with the cable modem, and that just changed the world. When Time Warner Cable came out with the cable modem, that's what made Quake able to pop back in the day. That's what made it like super famous. Was that modem that came out?
Yeah, I didn't know Time Warner Cable was the first one that did it, but yeah, it was just hardware limits at the time too were also a problem. Like you said, with the very slow modems and routers, that probably would have. Well, it did cause a lot of lag and problems with playing online and stuff. So there was a lot of limitations. That's sort of what started the whole, like why we have a net Quake and why there's a Quake world, because it was just really a lot of hardware limitations at the time. So
Absolutely.
And then, Quake really came out a little later when we did have the cable modems and stuff that was actually able to handle high speeds and have really good ping times and stuff like that, like what people should actually be getting in the game and stuff. So and that's where Quake World came into play. But then obviously you got the hardcore OGs that were just so adapted to how NetQuake is that they didn't want to change to Quake World, because there was changes with how the physics work and how movement works in that game too. So
Really, I mean, I was blown away when it came out. Even if it was just a hair different, like it's just the whole nostalgia of all the sounds and stuff that I remember, just picking up ammo and the rocket launcher and stuff. I mean, shit, man. I mean, that's what holds people away from playing, man. And that's their thing. But I'm just glad that it got remastered. We both were, me and Paul both, man.
yeah,
I remember I still have the message when he told me they had come out. I'm like, no way. Like I was blown, dude. I was so happy because that was a huge part of our childhood, like huge.
yeah. I was pretty surprised too. Yeah, I didn't even know it got remastered until maybe like a month after it came out and stuff. And then I just loaded up and I was really surprised it got remastered too. And I loaded it up right away, and I was like, I was the biggest thing I was kind of wondering, because I've played like source ports, at the time I was playing like VK Quake, which has been discontinued now, but that was a pretty good one. And I've also played Dark Places, and I've always loved the lighting in Dark Places and stuff like that. What they did with that engine is really cool.
Yeah.
Especially with how all the tech of ID Tech 1 is in general, being able to do that kind of stuff in there is really cool. So one of the things I was kind of curious to was like, how is this going to match up with other ports of the game that's been around for years now? So, and obviously, like QE isn't like, I know their goal wasn't really to like make a really fancy port of the game, and it was like they just took the game and added some things of, it's based on Wind Quake, so there's also, the Wind Quake limitations, and what they had to work around a lot of that stuff to get it to work there, because I'm not really sure what like made them want to go with like Wind Quake instead of maybe like using like like Quake World or something like that. But something about Wind Quake, maybe it had to do because they wanted to focus on the single player content, and I don't know how different that is in Quake World, but I think something like that was kind of the reason why they chose Wind Quake specifically. But
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm not sure about all that stuff and why they didn't do certain things, but yeah. I just remember like it took him a long time to really update. So yeah, so you brought that up about him or about focusing on single player. See, when I think of Quake, the only thing I can think of is the multiplayer stuff. So but maybe I'm different or whatever, but yeah, because I remember when they came out with this, they kept updating the single player version. You know, when it's like the people that were playing the multiplayer was like, dude, I mean, there were so many things that they needed to do to fix a multiplayer, and I remember it was forever before they came out with the first batch. I didn't realize like how much dedication was toward the single player version of it. So yeah, I didn't. I never really. I mean, I did. I did play the single player version. I did beat the game and everything back in the day, but I mean, multiplayer was that was the bread and butter. I think.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people who play Quake, I don't think single players like the reason that they would boot up the game. I say that actually kind of, back in the day, it kind of was for me. I always loved playing different mods for Quake because there was always so many different mods, like Arcane Dimensions. I mentioned that before on previous podcasts, Arcane Dimensions being a really big just a really big mod in general and stuff. It's really cool stuff. So like that kind of stuff was always kind of the things back in the day I always looked forward to playing. So QE is kind of what brought me into the online world there. But yeah, it's because like QE was also designed for console players too. So like they probably tried to think a lot of console players wouldn't be so attracted to the online portion of it, so they also wanted to have the single player portion work out just well without needing to do a lot of code. Again, though, that's all speculation. I don't really know how, like clients like, for example, like, FTE Quake World and Easy Quake, all those Quake World clients, I don't know how they play well in the single player. I've never really used them for single player.
Yeah.
So I don't know how, if I assume that they would be able to play the campaign and stuff, but I never tried it personally, so I wouldn't know how they work.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it was months and months. I mean, a long time before they came out with the patch, and the patch didn't. I can't remember what the issue was that we wanted that needed patch. I think you could only. And I think that's what started everybody making like all the mods and stuff for the game is because they weren't coming out with the updates that we needed for multiplayer. I could be wrong, but I remember because it started out we were all, everybody was just nobody knew anybody, and this whole thing came out, and then slowly but surely, I think Paul, did a lot of the stuff before I even got in, started, meeting with people and, getting to know everybody. And then I came in and then, joined the Discord and everything. And shit. And, I just lost my train of thought.
I get like that too, man. It's like sometimes you just get so focused in the game here, you kind of forget what you're talking about.
yeah. I remember now. They needed to do some updating to the multiplayer because it kept crashing, I believe, and plus they had it to where you can only play with 8 people was the max when it should have been 16 was the original, I believe.
Oh, you're talking about the remaster, right?
Yeah, remastered. Yeah.
That's still a thing, actually. The 16 player servers are actually modded servers. Yeah, but 8 is still the max on it.
Yeah. But I think that when it came out though was when they didn't have the modded servers yet, right? Because they didn't have those right away. Because I remember when I came in, I remember telling Paul, I'm like, hey man, how come we can't play like 16 or something? Because you could not increase the like when you made a server, you couldn't increase the player limit up over 8. The slider bar wouldn't allow you to go over 8.
Yeah.
So that's why I think Dan and all those people started modding it, is because they they was coming out with updates, but they were all single player updates, and so people just took it upon themselves to do it on their own. And so I think the first person I know of was Dan the Man. Came out with one of the bigger servers, and that just saved everything, man. I mean, it was unbelievable how much more it felt like, the original Quake when they did that. So it made us all excited.
Yeah, I can't really remember why they said they kept it at 8. I do know.
I don't know either.
Well, I do know PlayFab, because that's what QE servers run on. PlayFab kind of gets really wonky when you get up in like that above 8 player thing there. So maybe something like that was kind of the reason or something. I don't know, but it's weird because Quake. Now we have Quake 2 remastered, and that runs on PlayFab, and you can have 16 players on there and be fine. So it's like I don't really know. It's maybe some netcode back-end changes, something like that. That's probably the reason. Yeah. Anyways, we haven't. What I can't remember if you answered this already, but how did you actually meet Paul? Was it like in game, or did you like meet him in real life and then you were just gaming buddies, or?
Oh, so no, you did not ask that. So so basically, we had the same bus stop. So I moved here from Texas when I was like 5 or 6, and we moved into the same city that he lives in, and my mom still currently lives in.
Mm-hmm.
So I would go to the bus stop, and we used to pretend like we were Power Rangers and stuff, and like try to shadow box and stuff like at the bus stop. I mean, we were like 6, 7 years old,
Right?
And so we rode the bus together and everything, and I remember for some reason me and Paul just really hit it off at first, just being friends or whatever, and he asked me, he was like, hey, you should come to my house someday and play Nintendo. And I'm like, oh, okay, because the only thing I had ever had was an Atari, and then I think when we first moved up from Texas, we moved in with my cousins, my aunt and uncle, and they had an old computer, but it was able to run Doom. And so I first started playing Doom over at my cousin's house, and then I had gone over to Paul's house, and played some Nintendo with him, and then his brother had a computer, and that ran Doom, his older brother, and so they started playing Doom and stuff, and Paul's like, oh man, dude, I gotta get me a computer. And I don't know how Paul got a computer when he was so young, but I think it was his brother's leftovers from when he upgraded his computer, because his brother was always like an IT guy, very smart. He helped set up all kinds of IPs and stuff, like for companies and everything. But yeah, he was really big into that. So and then once Paul got a computer, I told him about Doom, and I think he already knew about Doom, but from his brother. But I had already known of it when he showed me. So yeah, I mean, once the computer came out, I mean, we became like instant best friends. I mean, because then when he had always been landscaping, his family owns a landscaping company in the area, so he had been working since he was like 10 years old, making a little bit of money. I think back then, I helped a couple summers when I was like 13. We were making $4.25 an hour, so he even did it before that. So I don't even know what minimum wage was back then, but But yeah, so he started getting once he started getting money, he started being able to upgrade his own computer. And when that happened, I got his old computer. So we had it set up right at his house, like kind of like next to each other and stuff. And that's where I pretty much lived my whole entire childhood, So
A lot of fond gaming memories, and well, I guess memories in real life too and stuff. So yeah, it's a real shame. He passed away pretty young, and sometimes you wish you could do more, but it's just one of those things that happens, and yeah, I always hate it. Like, I never like it when somebody. I mean, nobody likes it when somebody passes away. But yeah, it's just. Yeah, he was a great guy. I wish I got to know him a little more. I guess would be the thing I could say about that. Yeah, but he was a very good player of what I did know him. So he'll be missed by everybody, and even at the QE Discord, I've seen some people, talk about FuriousPaul and stuff like that, and how cool a player he was there. So he's definitely got people in the Quake community that are missing him, and my condolences to his family there, and I hope everybody's doing well. Did he have like brothers and sisters, or?
Oh yeah. So he had a brother, a sister. Him and his sister, I think, were just 1 year apart. And his brother was, I think he's like a couple years older, so they were all pretty close in age. But yeah, and then obviously his mom and his dad. And now his mom, she had the heart condition too, but she had just gotten the surgery. I believe, unfortunately, like right before Paul passed, and I think they were wanting to show him that, hey, your mom's getting the surgery, maybe you should go get the surgery, And yeah, he didn't. Like I said, he was a very healthy person. He had to do a lot of research on whether or not to get the surgery. I think he had actually made his decision, as hard as it is to say, but I think he came to peace with himself, because he knew he wasn't doing well. I mean, from what I was told with his family, I mean, the last few weeks or a few months, he's having a hard time moving around and breathing, So, so yeah, and she got her surgery done, and made it out, and she's doing good, and fortunately, it was just too late to kind of show Paul, like, look, your old mom can get it done, you can get it done, He didn't want to take any medications. He's very anti medicine, and unless it was natural, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If it didn't come from the earth, he didn't want to have nothing to do with it. Yeah. So, but that being said, a lot of his, I guess he had left a lot of stuff unlocked that he didn't normally leave unlocked at his house, and he left a couple little Easter eggs out, and I don't know, man. I just think he knew it was his time to come, and I think he could have done something, but
yeah,
I don't think. I don't know. I think at a certain point he just decided that he wasn't going to do it. But yeah, he's definitely going to be missed for sure.
What did you mean by Easter eggs?
I don't know. He left like a book out on a chair, and just like a lot of abnormal stuff that he would have never done. He left some stuff unlocked that he would never leave unlocked. You know what I mean? Like he left his house pretty wide open. He left the back door open, which he never does. I think he knew that when he went for the walk that it was gonna push him over.
So like he basically prepared that he wasn't gonna make it.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I mean, I don't know 100%, but the things that I've seen at his house and some stuff that his family said the day of, the day of, um, it was just very odd and not like Paul to do the things that he did and leave the house the way he left it. So, yeah, I think he knew that he didn't want to get the surgery, and he was having a difficult time breathing, and I don't think he liked the decision that he had to make. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But he had to do something. So I just, it sucks, but, and honestly, there's not even a guarantee he would have been able to make it out of surgery. That was one thing. That was one factor too. So it's a very delicate surgery, and it's a very rare condition, and he had it all his life, but it wasn't brought up to him until he passed out one time, like, I don't know, 10 or 12 years ago. And ever since then, he's been the most healthiest person that you could ever imagine, trying to take care of himself. And in fact, he extended his life probably, I don't know, a good 8 years or something from being so healthy. Well, or he delayed the surgery. I'm sorry. Yeah, he delayed the surgery. And the doctor said, if you don't get this surgery, you can be gone in 6 months, unless you really, really, really take care of yourself. And good doctor checkups every time. And then I think it just started catching up with him. And at the end of the day, you can't escape fate. And anybody that listens to this, I would tell you, take care of yourself. If you have something going on with you, just make sure you take care of it, because one day it might be too late, and that goes with like any health condition, diabetes, anything. It's not just a like shout out for his stenosis. It's really just health in general, because you may not wake up one day and I mean, I should be taking my own advice, with a lot of stuff, but it's hard. But there's doctors out there that if they tell you, you gotta stop doing something or this is gonna happen, it just very, very well may. Life is short.
Yeah, I was actually gonna say, when you mentioned that his surgery was, like it was a low chance of survival there, I was actually going to say that's probably why he made the decision that he did, because it was maybe he just thought to himself, and I'm speculating, like I'm not saying that's what really happened there, but like some people get that mentality of, like when they know they're going to die, they just want to kind of get it over with. I bring that up because my aunt kind of did the same thing. She passed away a few months back from cancer, and she had to go to the hospital because she had trouble breathing, and the hospital told us that she basically told them to pull the plug because she only had like maybe around a month to live or something like that. So they told her to pull the plug, and it's probably kind of the same thing what Paul kind of did. He probably just knew it was going to be his time regardless, and he was just gonna want to, I guess, end it right away rather than waiting in suspense or something like that.
Right. Well, he had known that, and I'm sorry about your family that had cancer, man.
Thank you.
I've had a similar thing, with my aunt. She was young, and it was a bad time too. That was probably the one of the hardest times also. But Yeah, yeah, it's been tough, man.
I got a few chats here. We are close to wrapping up here, but I would like to dedicate maybe these last few minutes if anybody in chat wants to say anything about FuriousPaul. Now would be a good time to say. I got Alex asking how long ago was this. He passed away on April 29th, 2024 at the age of 43. Heart condition is what I heard of. I will have the obituary, if I can pronounce that word right. I'll have the obituary in the description. You guys can view that anytime. Even after this stream is over, you can view it there. You'll have details about Paul over there, stuff. I have Dan the Man saying Paul will be missed in the Quake community for sure. Glad to see his streams are still going. Yeah, that was so. Who is because I've been seeing like VODs and stuff posting. Is that like from his family members doing that and stuff?
Yeah, so his computer's still running and stuff. He had actually started. He had started doing that. Well, that's another kind of a weird thing. He started running these streams 24/7. They're pretty much reruns. So yeah, if you go to his Twitch, which is twitch.tv/Joanna, JOANA .tv. He has his stream going on 24 hours a day. Hopefully forever. I mean, that's him playing the game, and that's him doing his world record run. And we're trying to keep it up for as long as possible. Somebody's staying at his house right now. His programmer that used to help him with his World of Warcraft guides, Tomcat, and he's taking care of it right now, so that's good. But yeah, I have to have it on when I go to bed. I can't, like, just the sounds of him leveling or whatever. I just got used to it, I've been there so much, and yeah, it's kind of like a way I got to go to sleep now. But yeah, it's always running. If you want to go in there, and at nighttime we put it on emote only mode, and I go in there every once in a while and throw in a heart. You know what I mean? Yeah, I'm a moderator in his Twitch and stuff. Yeah, he's my moderator in all my Twitch, Discord, everything. I mean, me and him did a lot of gaming stuff together. So
yeah. Yeah, I'll have to add a link to his Twitch, his stream on the description. I'll do that after the live stream's over here, so you guys will see that there. I was actually going to ask, since you brought it up too, is there any specific reason why he called it Joanne, or was that just kind of like a name he chose?
It was just. Yeah, it was just a name he chose because he did it with like a female troll or whatever. So
Gotcha.
He has it. Honestly, it's funny. He has it up on his webpage, which is joannasworld.com. And I think he explains it on there. I can't even remember why, to be honest with you.
No worries.
Because I remember him saying that he wasn't planning on breaking a world record. That. Otherwise he would have probably done something else, but hey, that's the thing he got stuck with. But yeah.
All right, well, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up the stream here. Ragestar, thank you for coming on here. I'm glad we were able to do this. FuriousPaul was a great player. Obituary stream will be on the description. Even after the live stream ends, you'll be able to view it anytime there. Ragestar talked about having a possible tournament in the future, so keep an eye out on the Quake QE Discord. We might do a tournament in memory of FuriousPaul there, so keep an eye on that for the future. I'm sending all of our condolences to Paul's family. Hope everybody's doing well. Hope that everybody's handling it pretty well. I mean, obviously not, but very sorry about the loss there. 43 is pretty young, and I just wish it didn't happen, but everything happens for a reason, and hopefully it comes to a light to know that there are some people out there that think that nobody truly dies and that there's always something out there even in the afterlife there. So I'm sure wherever Paul ended up in the afterlife, he is doing well and he's happy there, and I hope that brings some light and some happiness in thinking that thought of Paul being happy out there. But I'm sending my condolences to his family, and Ragestar, thank you for coming on the stream and telling us all about FuriousPaul. And I hope you had a little bit of closure coming on here talking about him as well.
Yeah, a little bit. It does help to talk about things. I'm actually seeing a counselor and talking about stuff too. So I think, the more I let out, the more, with me, it's the more stuff I get done for him that I know that he wanted to get done. Like keeping his stream up, we've gotten that down. We got all his access to his computer, which has a lot of our gaming memories on it that we recorded back in the day. This Quake tournament would have been really big for him. I think once that's like one of the last things that is on my mind to kind of lift the last 10 pounds off my chest.
Mm-hmm.
I think he would have really have loved that. So it's going to happen. And we'll make it happen. I'll do all the back work and you guys can just enjoy it, So anybody that wants to take part in it, it'd be awesome, man. We got streamers out there. We can stream it. We can make it kind of a thing, He's always looked up to all the ID software creators like John Carmack and all those guys. He loves all those guys, man. Those guys gave him a really good life, filled with entertainment, that's for sure. So he's a very big supporter of the whole entire Doom, Quake, first-person shooter industry. So, yeah, we should definitely do something.
Definitely. Well, I definitely look forward to that there. But yeah, thank you for coming on, Ragestar. This will conclude episode 13 of the Squid QE podcast with guest, a special episode dedicated to FuriousPaul. Check out the obituary and live stream that'll be in the description here. But I will go ahead and sign off now. Thank you, everybody, for watching and listening to the podcast, and I will see you in the next one.
All right. Thank you.
Bye.